Hey there, friends. Carlo DeCastris, sales representative here at Royal LePage Estate Realty. In my previous video, I had alluded to another recent change to how real estate is conducted. This has to do with the Canadian Real Estate Association and how they've eliminated the old notion, if you will, of exclusive listings. I've been in the business now since 1991, so I guess I'm entering my 33rd year. And there was a period of time in history where consumers had the choice of either multiple listing service, MLS. MLS is multiple listing service or multiple listing system, or exclusive. So those were the two options that consumers had. And the main difference between one and the other is that with the multiple listing system, multiple listing services from local real estate boards across the country, the consumer sellers especially would enjoy the benefit of a wide distribution of the pertinent property details to primarily realtors of the local board. And as technology and time progressed, by extension, the buyer consumers, by virtue of realtor.ca and various other real estate platforms, I think the oldest one, I think royallepage.ca actually predates realtor.ca maybe by 18 months, but nonetheless, MLS, or the multiple listing service, would have been the main pool of resources where realtors, realtor.ca, formerly MLS.ca, would have been drawing all of the listing data and collating it and repackaging it or packaging it as the realtor public-facing vehicle for property information. Alternatively, back in the day, consumers who didn't want to opt into that wide exposure and wanted to keep maybe a little bit more of a narrower focus or a niche focus could have opted for what we described in the business as an exclusive listing. An exclusive listing would have been property would have been marketed in much the same way, only that it would be outside of the multiple listing service, meaning that the audience would not be nearly as wide or as broad as it would be had it been on the MLS. Why would sellers opt for that? Well, typically it would have been because there was a financial benefit to them. Principally, it costs a little bit less. The resources weren't as broad in one sense, and sellers saw a benefit from that point of view. Other reasons would have been maybe personal reasons. They really didn't want to have a wide audience. They didn't want to have just anybody coming through. In the past, I've had it where sellers said, no, Carlo, I want you to make sure that you're properly vetting all of the people that are interested in my property, which is what we're supposed to be doing in any case. But there were some vendors and sellers who thought, nope, that was the option that they preferred to make use of. Well, this year, the powers that be at the Canadian Real Estate Association have decided that as soon as a property becomes publicly marketed, and that could mean a sign on the yard, a social media post, any kind of wide distribution, newspaper, mass mailing in a community, the linchpin would be public consumption. Anything that's publicly accessible, any property that becomes publicly accessible in terms of marketing would have to be presented on a front-facing multiple listing service within 3 business days of a public announcement. So you may be seeing on your feeds, oh yeah, off-market listings, jump on the bandwagon, get your advanced list. That kind of practice is supposed to be falling by the wayside this year in 2023. The rules came into effect early January. So exclusive listings no longer exist. Pocket listings, however, will exist, and a pocket listing will be again, speaking from history, in the very olden days, 30 plus years ago, we used to go walk around with our shirt pockets with a little index card or notepad of property addresses and possible buyers that would match up or might be interested in that particular property. And it just stayed in my pocket. And those folks who were in my stable of either seller clients or buyer clients, well, I would just put them together. Pocket listings may be something that we'll see on the horizon come up again. And the only one caveat for us as realtors is that so long as we don't publicly announce that 123 Apple Street is coming soon on the market or is on the market but not on the MLS system, there will be consequences. And as I understand it, it's the local boards that will be policing this new protocol. So you might be asking yourself, well, Carlo, what is the point of this video? Well, one is to inform you that all listings, as soon as they become publicly marketed, are going to be showing up on a local multiple listing service or multiple listing system. Be aware when you see ads that, oh, there's off-market listings and this and that. It may not be entirely truthful advertising. CREA wants to build the integrity of the Realtor.ca platform and funnel all properties from coast to coast onto the Realtor.ca website, so that it remains at the forefront of providing accurate, publicly accessible listing information. Some markets, I know Nova Scotia, they're actually publishing the sold data. We might see that on the horizon too. And so those changes towards public transparency, there is a place for it. There are driving forces behind the inability to have exclusive listings. The whole purpose of all of that is to be collaborative amongst realtors, which is what we did with exclusives. We would, make the property details of those properties that were not on the MLS system still accessible to other realtors. We would share information. Our role is to bridge the gap between a seller's need or want to sell and a buyer's need or want to buy, and help bring them together. We did that effectively in both systems, multiple listing and exclusive. There are bad players and bad actors in the industry that maybe wouldn't be so forthcoming, and I think that's the driving reasoning behind CREA's adoption of this mandatory or required edict that all properties will go on a multiple listings system, so that the consumer, you folks watching, won't feel as though you've missed out on an opportunity and not given a fair shake at getting the home or property that you love, that you would have desired, so as to try to maintain a level playing field. Will it work out? Time will tell. It's a new protocol. It's a new year, so we'll see how all that shakes out. And among other things, the new open offer format that I'll speak to in another future video, probably in the next 7 days or so. So, as always, I'm happy to talk about your real estate plans for this year, and always answer your questions, as I know you're always curious about the real state of your real estate, and that's where I'm always happy to help out. Cheers.